Despite dominating the global e-commerce marketplace, Amazon's grocery business model is failing. The largest e-commerce company in the world, with annual sales of over $450 billion, is struggling to survive in one of the most important retail categories. And mass store closures and layoffs are now being announced, demonstrating that even the biggest companies in the sector are being hit by the retail apocalypse. The collapse of these food retail chains should serve as a wake-up call for everyone, and a new analysis suggests that Whole Foods, Amazon Go and Amazon convenience stores may soon vanish entirely from the US economic landscape. That's what we're going to discuss today, but before we do, we kindly ask you to support our work by giving it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Amazon went big and bold with its diversified brick and mortar strategy, operating hundreds of Whole Foods stores and opening dozens of cashier-less Amazon Fresh and Amazon Go stores in recent years. Not so long ago, the company anticipated having hundreds or even thousands of its grocery stores nationwide. Sadly, they have never lived up to those expectations, and it is now becoming more and more obvious that the e-commerce giant may have made a mistake by entering the grocery market. The most recent earnings report for the company. School CEO Andy Jassy acknowledged that Amazon hasn't quite figured out a successful model for the grocery industry, and that many locations are about to close. Jassy also said that the retailer is postponing plans to expand its chains until it can figure out how to set them apart from long-standing rivals in the market. This move followed growth results that were significantly below expectations. During the pandemic, its fresh supermarkets and cashier-free convenience stores experienced a surge in sales. However, since the second half of 2021, foot traffic has drastically decreased and the company's income has been continuously declining. Jassy's comments show that even if the grocery market is a solid spending sector, Amazon's decision to focus on grocery sales and close its bookstores a year ago wasn't enough to stop the tide of store closings caused by the retail apocalypse. The online market Leslie Hansel of Riverbend Consulting, a consulting firm, an expert Amazon seller, claims that Titan is struggling to establish its importance in the category and that the company's upcoming grocery withdrawal will acknowledge a deteriorating retail environment. While the company's new CEO, Andy Jassy, recently stated that they were doubling down in the grocery market, it now appears that they are actually pausing the development of a number of additional Amazon Fresh grocery stores and shuttering a number of locations that they do not believe have the best chance of surviving and thriving in the current economic climate. According to Hansel, supermarket retailers often operate on razor-thin profit margins, but Amazon has never done so. When Bush Securities analyst Michael Pastor told Reuters earlier this year that Amazon's investment in a nascent business model for the grocery category was a major waste of money because retail is a difficult industry, the expert added, they flushed money down the toilet pursuing Amazon Fresh stores and thinking they could brand a new concept and capture share from retailers who have been successful for decades. In contrast, the online shopping giant is now having to change its strategy. The retailer announced plans to cut 1,800 jobs from its global workforce, and on Monday Andy Jassy said in a memo to staff that the retailer will eliminate an additional 9,000 jobs in the coming weeks. The job cuts would mark the second largest round of layoffs in the company's history, bringing the 2023 total to 27,000 people made redundant. However, Jassy noted that Amazon is still finalizing its decisions on which roles will be eliminated and in the coming weeks. In the meantime, Whole Foods Market, a chain of natural and organic food stores, announced that it is shuttering dozens of supermarkets in 4 states. The affected stores are located in Alabama, California, Massachusetts, and Illinois, and a spokesperson said that the closures have been prompted by the retailer closing 1/3 of its Amazon Go stores and closing all locations in the city of San Francisco by April 1st. Many industry analysts question the viability of the grocery chain after Amazon reported that Whole Foods Markets faced its highest quarterly loss in 7 years. Unfortunately, Amazon currently has no strategy for physical grocery stores, instead just a collection of ideas, according to retail consultant Retain Ladd, who previously worked as a strategist for the company's grocery business. The Whole Foods acquisition did not set the world on fire, the brand Ladd said. Nor did it take market share. Instead, Amazon should have capitalized on the Whole Foods brand name. However, the company ultimately lost its nerve Ladakis, learning the painful lesson that technology alone is not enough, he stressed. Similar to this, grocery industry consultant Bill stressed that Amazon's biggest mistake was not following up its Whole Foods acquisition with any meaningful integration or expansion. Yet Whole Foods' overall consumer count is actually declining. Whole Foods is in a particularly bad situation, and according to analysts at Retail Wire, Amazon's food company may not survive another 5 years, especially in light of the danger of a major economic downturn, Michael Maloof, another industry specialist at Earnest Research, told The Inquirer. The company bought Whole Foods Market in 2017, which prompted an increase in investment in the grocery delivery sector as rivals tried to match the service. The future appeared bright, but many large grocery chains like Kroger used their purchasing power to compete with Whole Foods' niche, and the latter chain lagged behind very quickly. According to Managing Director of Highlights Global Data Neil Saunders, pandemic made it seem like things were going to continue. In recent years, the company has tried to maximize profits by switching to a centralized purchasing model similar to those of the mainstream supermarket chains. As a result, this has left less shelf space for locally grown or produced goods, which is another challenge facing the company's future. As a big business, the brand has lost much of its reputation for buying and selling or local, an attribute that is appealing to the Whole Foods customer. In addition, its grocery chains are renowned for being more expensive than those of its rivals as organic foods become more popular, crowding shelves even at discounts. Whole Foods, which competes against Walmart and fails to stand out in comparison to businesses like Trader Joe's, is losing customers, according to Samuel Viss, who also highlighted that Aldi Whole Foods has a reputation for having surly customer service. And Target, who have created passionate followings for their own label products and already have customers in their pockets, may threaten Amazon's grocery store chain sooner than the company anticipates, especially at a time when the typical American consumer is cash-trapped and sticks to what they know and are accustomed to. Despite being a tech giant, the retailer really did not take into account the competitive landscape in the food category. At the grocery store panel, the managing director of Credit Suisse stated, "I think Amazon wants to compete where they can't compete," citing the company's inability to attract devoted customers of rival chains due to its lack of distinctive branding or well-known private label products. It's a really middle-of-the-road notion. According to Rupesh Parikh, senior stock research analyst at Oppenheimer and Company, there is no unique differentiator for what they are selling. Many people haven't adopted Amazon's grocery business online due to the premium pricing and inability to choose produce. If they can't figure out that model and how to do this business on thin margins, in 5 years all of the stores will be gone. Even its online product range doesn't seem that impressive because people want to go to their local stores to touch and feel the produce and the meat, and there's a big switching cost here to go to some new store you're not familiar with. Without a doubt, Amazon helped make online shopping popular and a time-saving, enjoyable experience. Nevertheless, success in every product area doesn't necessarily follow the same route, and Amazon is already learning that personally with its supermarket chains. Given how quickly things are falling apart right now, it won't be long before many other businesses start announcing mass closures and layoffs as well. When even such a large and resource-rich company fails to adapt to the harsh brick-and-mortar retail sector, that begs the question of how smaller brands are really doing in such a troubled environment right now. Red flags are beginning to appear everywhere, and unless Amazon reformulates its whole business model, its grocery store franchises will remain perpetually locked in a state of limbo. Business conditions are getting much worse, and the pressure to keep up and stay afloat has never been greater.